Hey everyone, it's Peter Kerr from Rock Daydream Nation. Daniel Bicycle Legs, he's back. How are you, mate?
Always a pleasure to be on Rock Daydream Nation, my friend, and I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Absolutely. Now, this is a bit of a carry-on from a show that we did earlier this year about crazy compilation albums, predominantly from Australia. And there's one quite infamous, I'll use the word infamous with inverted commas, album because of the semi-saucy album cover. And it's called Ripper. Put it up. Here we go. Ripper 1975. I thought it'd be a fun episode that we do a deep dive into Ripper and basically do a little bit of a critique of the songs on the album. So this is going to be like a sample of a typical 1970s Australian compilation album. Bit of a mixed bag, this one, isn't it?
They all are, really. I mean, I mostly collect 80s compilations, as you would have noticed when we did that big show. But I've been getting some more of the 70s ones. And I mean, even the 80s ones are, sometimes half the fun with these compilations isn't the great songs, it's the cheesy ones.
Yes.
But on this album, there's definitely some songs here that, I wouldn't own unless they were on this compilation, let's put it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, why don't we tuck in and we'll talk about it song by song and take it from there. So so you put the needle in the groove. Side one, the first song that comes up is the classic Skyhooks single Horror Movie, which went to number 1.
Right there on my TV, horror movie right there on my TV, horror movie right there on my TV, shocking me right out of my brain.
I know you and I have spoken about this song on many occasions. It's quite one of the more unique singles that went to number 1. A lot of social commentary, good arrangement. Nice melody. It's a rocking song. Skyhooks, it really set them up, didn't it?
It absolutely did. And you're right to say it's unusual because, I mean, I think I noted this before when we did our Skyhooks ranking over on my channel. This song doesn't have a normal drum beat to it. Like, it doesn't have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the drumming on it's very creative, but it's also very moody, and it creates a lot of atmosphere, as does the guitar playing of Red and Bongo. The lyric from Greg McCain is just, I mean, it's still relevant in this day and age, isn't it?
Very sharp, astute, talking of a social commentary lyric about what you see on TV in regards to the news, the violence, just things that are just changing. And like, this was recorded and came out in 75. Gee whiz, it's just as relevant in 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great song, and it's a, perfect kickoff to this compilation album, isn't it?
Absolutely. And one thing you're going to notice, and I've been sort of zeroing in, is a lot of these songs, they get trimmed a little bit, because there's only a maximum amount of time that they could have fit on these albums, like 10 tracks each. And there are a lot of songs that went for 4 or 5 minutes, and they've had to do a little bit of a nasty sort of outro, and it's on to the next song. So something that we may pick up and observe as we go along. Next song is another Australian. There's a high Australian quotient on this album, isn't it? I've counted 8.
Yeah.
So that's pretty tidy. Sherbet, Freedom. Now, this came out in 75. I think Sherbet probably hit their absolute stone cold peak with Teenagers and the Australian public in 76 with How's That. So they were on the rise with this song.
Freedom coming, oh, peace and harmony, oh, freedom coming.
What do you think of this one?
Yeah, it's interesting. You say this was this earlier Sherbet. It's it's not as poppy, I don't think the intro is a little bluesier, I think, than
R&B.
you're used to. Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a bit of gospel. It gets all
Hmm.
orchestral and gospel, and yeah.
Yeah. You know, I know that you've been sort of on my case about this a little bit, Peter, but I kind of hadn't gotten into Sherbet. I'd kind of dismissed them a little bit because I thought of them as a teeny bop band. And, you know, I bought a couple of their earlier albums, you know, in cheap bins at record stores, and they're actually really good. So, and I like this song quite a bit. As you say, it's got that kind of R&B feel. It's got a little bit. It's not super gritty, but it's a little grittier than what they would become known for. You know, with that really sleek sort of satin pop that they would do on How's That and things that came afterwards.
Yeah, it's a nicely crafted song. I don't think they've quite hit their straps. It's not one of my favorites. And the live song has a bit of a drum solo. That's something worth hearing. But yeah, it's not a bad song. But I think the following year, they really hit their straps with How's That and some absolute perfect pop. And
Yeah.
we might do a show on that another day.
And can I just say, as a little bit of a spoiler alert, you say that, you know, half of this album is Australian. There's 16 songs on the album, and 8 of them are Australian. I think on the whole, I think the Australian songs beat the international songs on this album. What do you reckon?
Pretty strong. Pretty strong. Yeah. I'll come back to you at the end of this, but I think you may be onto something. Next song, Olivia Newton-John, If You Love Me, Let Me Know. Oh, I think ONG's kind of critic-proof, isn't she?
Yeah. Look, this is her, you know, sort of early 70s. She was very country, very
Love it.
Nashville. Yeah, absolutely. I've got a soft spot for it. You know, I'm not one of these people who completely poo-poos country music. I like more traditional sounding country music like this. And I think I used to have the single of this once upon a time back in the 80s. I bought it at a garage sale for like 50 cents or something like that. And yeah, it's a really good song. She's, you know, I mean, ONJ's voice was always so gorgeous, just so pure. And
Critic-proof.
yeah, and she just sang this song beautifully. The only thing always found just a little bit goofy on a couple of these country songs.
The baritone
Yeah,
voice on this one.
it's the bass
Yeah,
voice. Yeah,
yeah, it is.
he's a little too high in the mix, I think.
Yeah, yeah, push it back. Hey, the pedal steel's divine.
Mm.
Anytime I hear a country and a song that's got pedal steel, I'm sold. And that's a big tick on this. So I think the good outweighs the bad. This is a great song. 3 out of 3. Not too bad.
Mm.
And I prayed you'd love enough of me to stay.
If you love me, let me know. If you don't, then let me go.
Oh, we had to spoil it, didn't we? Donny and Marie Osmond, Morning Side of the Mountain. What do you think of this?
Well, not much. Look, when I was sort of re-listening to this album, which I did a couple of times over the last few days, the one word that just kept popping into my head, and it'll come up with another song on side 2 as well. This is schlock. It's just pure schlock. It's you know, I was telling you offline, and I don't know if it was the same for you when you were growing up. We used to watch the Donny and Marie show, you know, in the late 70s. And, you know, it was that really sort of cornball variety kind of show. And this is exactly the sort of song they would have done on that song. It's just corny as hell and has no redeeming features to it whatsoever.
Oh, it's like eating a sugary donut, and it's just full of sugar. And after having that one bite, it's just you can't finish the donut. It's just too much. This is like bad 70s Vegas. And I can imagine they would be wearing the satin tuxedos. It'd be in the old school Vegas, and you'd have the blue rin set, clapping their hands and just lauding it. So this is up there with Liberace and all those other shiny variety shows of the 70s, and it is bad.
Yeah.
Notice I said the word bad. It is really bad. So sorry, guys. The album's taken a dip.
They never kissed. They will never know what happiness they missed. 'Cause he lived on the
But it redeems itself with the next one. I really like this Pointer Sisters song, Fairy Tale. Who knew they did country? Education for Peter Kerr. What do you think of this song?
Absolutely. It was a revelation to me too, because it's not a Pointer Sisters song I know at all. You're probably the same as me, Peter. I knew the Pointer Sisters from those early 80s sort of synth poppy kind of hits, Neutron Dance and He's So Shy and things like that. So yeah, I wasn't expecting this from the Pointer Sisters at all. I don't think it's quite as good as O&J's country turn on this album, but I still like it quite a bit.
I think it's almost one of the best songs in the album. I really like it. It's got a great arrangement. It's thoughtful lyrics. The singing is just world class. And just reading a little bit up, the Pointer Sisters were really into country. And there were a few sort of African-American artists that were dabbling in country. Tina Turner did a country album. Ray Charles has always dabbled in that. And it's sort of kind of erased. The music history erases this side of the Pointer Sisters. So I love the Pointer Sisters, by the way. I recently bought a couple of their 80s albums, and they were just perfect pop. But this is a side to them that I wasn't familiar with. I'm gonna dig in and find out some more because I like it.
Yeah.
Pretending that you care, but now I've opened up my eyes and found it's all been just a great big
Just a little
sure.
side story as far as sort of African Americans and country music goes. I remember watching the Ken Burns Jazz documentary series, and they told a story about Charlie Parker being in a bar after playing a set, and he was playing all these country records on the jukebox, and somebody came to him and said, "Why are you listening to this country music?" And he was like, "The stories, man, the stories." So, and that's what you get in country music, isn't it?
It's storytelling. Gary Shearston. I get a kick out of you, Cole Porter. This is a really wacky, unusual song. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's a novelty single. It's played for the novelty appeal, I think. It's not done as a straight cover. It's done as very much light-hearted. I'm pretty sure the lines about cocaine were not in the original song, but
They were.
Oh, were they? Well,
Yeah.
There you go. Surprises me.
Yeah.
I'd never heard that part of the song, so maybe I'd only heard truncated versions before. But yeah, he's definitely playing it lightheartedly as a bit of a novelty thing. It's fine for what it is, but it's not one of the greatest songs on the album.
Yeah, I think his vocal delivery is 1930s. He's sort of like predating Taco and putting it on the Ritz. It's I think the whole arrangement it's got that slight Art Deco feel about it, you know what I mean, in 1975. Reading the social commentary on YouTube, a lot of folks loved it, so must have made some sort of an impact. I've never heard it before. It's made it ripper. I assume it got played out here and charted, so there you go. But yeah, it's a bit of a novelty song, not one of my favorites.
Here's my idea, nothing to do. Yet I get a kick out of you.
Next song, we have exchanged some emails on this one, and initially you didn't like it, and you've come around it. I think this is a really unusual song, really offbeat and worth exploring. Ray Burgess, Touch Me. Now, to the folks at home, Ray Burgess was a TV presenter in the 70s. A bit of a pop idol, and very briefly, he put out a couple of albums to varying success, and this was the highest charting song in the album. I think it went top 20. What do you think of this song?
Yeah, as I mentioned to you offline, the first couple of times I listened to this album, I think that song just kind of passed me by. Maybe I was a little distracted. I don't know. I didn't dislike it, but it didn't sort of grab me. I was listening to it again today, and I actually played it a couple of times almost straight after the other. I got real, it's very glammy. I got real T-Rex vibes from this song.
Yeah.
Mark Bolan, T-Rex, and I really like that about it. I think he does it well.
Yes. It's got that stomp, hand clap type beat, but I think his vocal delivery's got a bit of menace, and I like that. He's got a bit of a snarl, bit of growl in it. It's not shiny, saccharine pop idol a la Mark Holden and Leif Garrett. It's this guy, if you listen to it and you didn't know what he looked like, and you were just closing your eyes and just listening to the music through the headphones, there's a fair amount of oral, A-U-R-A-L, menace. Did you get that feel? It's a little bit dirty, a little bit dirty.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was coming at when I was sort of comparing it with T-Rex, because I always get that a little bit with Mark Bolan, I always thought Mark Bolan had a little bit of menace to the way he sang. And I definitely get that. But, instrumentally very T-Rex, very glam, very 1974, 75. It was a revelation to me listening to it again today.
Yeah, and I'm definitely going to check out his solo album. He has got a website that you can order the album on CD. So kind of self-funded, he's still pushing it out. One more thing about this, the song I want to talk about, it's got this really scatty slide guitar. The guitar just goes all over the shop. So, it's just a really unusual song. Check it out, folks. Worth exploring.
Shivers down my backbone 'cause my woe means back. Then my voice began to race.
Next song. This is a staple of classic rock. Bachman Turner Overdrive. You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. What can you say about this song?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. It's a great way to close out side one too, because it's the last song on side one. So, again, I was listening to this album, and I've heard this song hundreds of times, because it got played on classic rock radio all the time, and I used to have a different compilation that had it on. What I don't think I'd ever really noticed until I was listening to it for preparing for this show is what a beast Fred Turner is on the bass. His bass playing is just brilliant on this song. Love it to death. But I mean, most of our viewers, I think, are going to be very familiar with this song, and I think most of them are going to say, yeah, it's a great song. So
yeah, it's classic rock. You can't really, it's a very good song. It's very economical. There's not an inch of fat on it. It just gets straight to the point, and it's hooky as hell. So a lot of these songs that are staples of classic rock are there for a reason. And it's because of the hooks, the melodies, it's all there. So I've got nothing much more to add. Gloria Gaynor, Never Can Say Goodbye. What a voice, powerhouse. It's a great song, great cover. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, it's really early disco, isn't it? Before disco really had made an impact. It's definitely got that flavor, and it's got all the good things about disco, you know, those wonderful string charts and that sort of thing in the background. As you say, Gloria Gaynor, great voice. It's a great song. Again, there's not a lot more that I think we can add to this. This is a classic again for a reason. Still gets played in discotheques and that sort of thing. You know, people still boogieing on down to it 50 years later.
Yeah, as the mirror ball comes down.
Yeah.
There it is. Next song, Daryl Braithwaite, You're My World. Look, it's cheese, but I like it, and I can't explain why. And I know Daryl's really giving it his all because, you know, Daryl was a little bit of a pop idol. So, you know, on one hand, we've just covered his band Sherbet, and they were exploring the R&B and gospel, but this is just full-on orchestral schmaltz.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. Daryl Braithwaite had this sort of solo career that was going at the same time as Sherbet. He wasn't putting albums out yet, but he was releasing singles. And to the point where, funnily enough, you might be aware of this, but a lot of our viewers may not. The very first Daryl Braithwaite album is actually the best of Daryl Braithwaite. So it's like a collection of all those singles that were released in the 70s. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely schmaltzy and a little bit cheesy, but I like it. It's not as good as the Sherbet song on this album, I don't think.
No,
but, you know, those singles that he was putting out were mostly cover versions too, so...
And he's giving it his all. Hey, one observation. How many artists in the 70s, you know, like Daryl Braithwaite, would have this full-on bells and whistles orchestral sound to it? It seemed to be a little bit of an Australian sound, wasn't it? I don't know if they had whether it was Tommy Tico or Ron Tudor from Faber Records, but it always seemed that there were so many artists. They would do a power ballad and it'd be just full on choirs and orchestras, you know. Just seemed like every week there'd be a different song. Colleen Hewitt, John Farnham, John English, which we'll cover. Always you have this song and the full on orchestra comes into it. Do you agree that was a bit of an Australian sound in the 70s?
It certainly seems to have been, you know. I'm trying to think, you know, whether that was it certainly wasn't as pervasive in the US or the UK as it was here.
If our love ceases to be, then it's the end of my world for me.
Gladys Knight and the Pips, I Feel a Song in My Heart.
Soul music, and it's really nice. You know, there's so many good voices on this album, and Gladys Knight's just another one of them. And you know, just a really good soul song. Sorry, I only own one album by them, and I definitely need to try and find some more because it's really good stuff.
Yeah, look, so many great soul albums in the mid 70s, early 70s. You know. It's got a real groove to it. And Australia were a bit slow. Motown wasn't a big thing in Australia. Motown sort of hit our shores and became popular much later. I think it was like a delayed... we were starting to embrace a lot of these songs, as you can see on this album with Gladys Knight and the Pips and Gloria Gaynor were embracing a lot of the R&B and the soul artists of America, and this is a mighty fine song. So yeah, I've got to, like you, I've got to explore a little bit more.
When
Next song, a legend, singer-songwriter, and a legendary song. Over to you, Richard Clapton, Girls on the Avenue.
Yeah. Our overseas viewers need to check this song out because unfortunately Richard Clapton never really made anything of a splash overseas. Absolute shame because he is a national treasure. One of our greatest singer-songwriters, and Girls on the Avenue, one of his most famous songs. I'm going to go so far, Peter, and I'm going to call it right now. It's my favorite song on this compilation. It, even more than Horror Movie, which I love Horror Movie to death, but Girls on the Avenue, what a kick-ass song.
Yeah.
He's got that sort of voice too. It's just he's got character in his voice. He's a unique singer. There's really nobody else sounds like Richard Clapton, and I love that about him. And he's such a great, his songs are character studies, which this one certainly is. And it's just, I can't sort of be effusive enough about this song. It's great.
Brother, I can't say any more. You took the words right out of my mouth. He's one of my favorite singer-songwriters, and we did a show with the Wrecking Crew about artists that should have been bigger. And watch that, folks, because I did a whole sermon on the Mount about how people should dig Richard Clapton. And even in this country, he's a little bit underrated. I think you've got to talk about him in the same breath as your Paul Kellys, your Nick Caves, your Neil Finns. He's that good. He's Dylan-esque. Yeah. He is a pantheon of Australian singer-songwriting. Just one quick tidbit before we go on to the next one. Girls on the Avenue, I always thought it was like hookers, streetwalkers. It's not. It was Richard Clapton told a story. He was going into a radio station near William Street in the Cross, and Triple J was the radio station, and it's about these girls that were sharing a flat. So it's connected with some girls that he knew, but they weren't streetwalkers. But I always had it in my head that this was about streetwalkers. Is that what you thought the lyrics were?
Yeah, and I read somewhere once that Richard Clapton kind of let that perception go, even though it wasn't, because he thought it would be good for sales of the records.
It doesn't hurt, does it? Let it go.
But don't you slip in love with the girls on the avenue. Friday night, see the girls on the avenue. Like a child at big store windows, you feel confused. So many girls on the avenue.
Next band was probably Bon Scott's favourite band or favourite artist. I did an interview with Angry Anderson, and Bon Scott couldn't talk enough about Alex Harvey and the sensational Alex Harvey band and the song Anthem. When I was listening to this, I was thinking, I understand why Bon would like it. Bit of bagpipes, a little bit of the Scottish folkiness about it, a little bit of, bit of oomph. What do you think of this song?
I don't say this is a put down, but this is probably the oddest track on the album because, I mean, there's no lyrics.
It's an album track, isn't it? It sounds like an album track, not a single track.
Yeah. There's no lyrics. The vocals are all wordless, sort of, and you've got the bagpipes and that sort of thing. It sounds very Scottish. I mean, sensational Alex Harvey band were a Scottish band, so that makes sense. Fun fact, the version on here, which I'm assuming was the single version, Peter, is 2 minutes 45. I was looking at the album that this comes from. The album version's nearly 8 minutes long. I don't know if I could take nearly 8 minutes of it, but at 2 minutes 45, it's an interesting oddity on the album.
It is. I was listening to it and I thought, this is an album track. I can't, for the life of me, think this is a commercial hit single. So definitely unusual.
Well, the funny thing is, the only place I could find that it charted was here in Australia. It only got to number 47 or something, but it did chart here. So
Stranger things have happened.
Cause it pays to advertise. Don't treat me with suspicion. Don't tell me no more lies. You know I love your company. You shouldn't do me wrong.
Next artist, another underrated singer-songwriter, left this earth far too young, and I'm talking about John English and Turn the Page.
yeah.
It's a bit of an unusual vocal. This is a much smoother John English than I kind of remember, because a lot of his songs, he has that grittiness and that real raw, and this one's he plays it a bit more with a straighter bat, don't you think?
Yeah, he's a little less husky on this song. You know, John English was always known for that really husky sort of vocal. But this song's very cinematic, which wasn't unusual for John English. I'm thinking of other songs of his like Hollywood 7, you know, often had that real cinematic quality to it. And that's, again, you know, talking about the strings and all that sort of thing.
Oh,
definitely
I love that
gives
song.
it that.
That Hollywood
Yeah.
7 song's a cracker.
Yeah, but this has got a similar sort of feel to it, that cinematic quality with the strings and the whatever, and a very dramatic vocal from John English. As I say, he turns the husk down a little bit, but the vocal is very dramatic. It's a great song.
Look, I think his career could have been bigger if he got in the Vander and Young stable. So maybe not being a solo artist and went in that rock direction. It's a bit of a head scratch. I would have loved him. I don't know why Vander and Young didn't pick him up, because he's got the look. He's got those sort of the dark eyes. He looks like a hard rock singer, you know. Was more of the Bob Seger straight rock with a little bit of balladry. He was in that sort of, I hate to say the word, middle of the road.
It's funny you mentioned Bob Seger, because he actually wrote this song.
That is true, but yeah. Do you agree? It was a little bit kind of middle of the road?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I think also John English, I mean, this song's a cover, but like a lot of his songs were originals. And I don't think he would have wanted to go into the Vander and Young stable, simply because I don't think he wanted to do Vander and Young songs. I think he wanted to do John English songs. I think he would have flourished under Vander and Young, but I don't think that's the way he wanted to go. So
yeah, to me, I think he was a bit on the RSL circuit, which is like the if you're in the UK, gentlemen's clubs, more than the pub rock, which was the staple. I just have this memory, and maybe our viewers will, oh, Peter, you're talking out of your butt. That's not correct. But my memory is I'd more likely see John English playing Parramatta RSL than actual do the pub circuit with the Angels and Rose Tattoo. But maybe that's just a mistaken memory. And that's where I'm getting this middle of the road type thing. I think that he's a bit of a forgotten hero as far as I'm concerned.
Here I am, I'm on the road again. Here I am, I'm up on the stage. Here I go, I'm playing star again. Here I go, turn the page.
Speaking of legendary status, J.O.K., Johnny O'Keefe, On the Road. Boy, oh boy, is this a stinker. Johnny O'Keefe is one of our true legends of rock. He was like our Elvis, the wild one. Check out his early material. It was just absolutely fantastic. But this song sounds like it wouldn't even be fit for the Mike Walsh show or Pot of Gold talent show in the 70s. It's just shocking. And
it's hard to believe this is the same guy who did Shout and Real Wild Child, or The Wild One as it was originally known. Most of our viewers would know that song as an Iggy Pop song, but it was a cover of a Johnny O'Keefe song. And, he was the original Australian rock and roller, you know. And yeah, by this stage, he was doing this again, the word that I use with Donny and Marie, schlock. It's just really, this is for the blue rinse set again, for the grandmas and all that sort of thing. I don't know what he was thinking at this stage. I mean, I don't know how much longer he was still with us after this, but he did die pretty young. So.
Yeah, 76, 77, my recollection, or maybe 78, was only within a couple of years. But he doesn't sound well on this song. He's actually out of tune. And so I was just talking to Bicycle Legs. You can't find this song on Spotify. It's very hard to get it on YouTube. It's on no compilations. So it's like people have tried to erase it. And this was pushed as a single. So if you happen to track it down, listen to it, but it's quite a sad essay of a once great artist.
Yeah.
And yeah, not great. All right. Every compilation in the 70s has this band, and this one is no different, and it's Status Quo Down Down. I don't care what you say, Bicycle Legs, but this is probably their greatest out song. It's just rollicking. It's brilliant.
Look, Status Quo are the sort of band that I can take in one song doses. And on a compilation album like this, I'm happy with it. It's like just listening to an entire album of it I can't do, because it becomes monotonous to me. But this is a great song. It, kind of had its value tarnished a little bit by being used in a Coles ad, which is like one of our big supermarket brands here. But yeah, no, it's a good fun time while it's on. It's yeah.
Well, it encapsulates everything about Status Quo in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The three chords. What I like about it is I think a lot of people don't realize that within the four of the Awesome Foursome, there's a lot of dynamics and there's a lot of light and shade in this song. Look, it's just rollicking boogie, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's a fine way to finish the album.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think makes this a better Status Quo song for me than most is it's got that Status Quo thing that I feel like almost every Status Quo song had, which is the dun 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 dun. But at least in this song, it's at a really fast clip. It's sort of dun 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 dun, rather than slowed down. So
yeah, absolutely. Couldn't say it better myself. There you go, folks. Ripper 75. It's got a bit of everything. You got Australian acts, you got novelty songs, you got R&B, gospel, country, and just rollick and rock and roll. And yeah, on the Fontana label, which you don't see too often. It's a extinct label, but definitely, I think it's a pretty sound compilation.
Yeah, for the most part. There's not too many stinkers on this album. And, I collect the 80s ones, as I say, because I'm more of an 80s kid when it comes to singles. And I think there's a bigger difference in the 70s, too, between what was on the singles charts and what was on the albums charts, because, your albums charts in, 1975, you're probably, Pink Floyd and Yes and, Kiss and, things like that. Whereas the singles were definitely more into the lighter sort of thing in that sort of mid-70s period. So you get a real sort of difference with a compilation album like this. And I like that about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. And I think we might do a Ripper 76 because this was a sequel. Same sort of image, different songs. So... stay tuned, folks. There might be a Ripper 76. Please check out Bicycle Legs Does Music. Wonderful content. I've had the pleasure of being on his musical channel many, many times, and there'll be many, many times in the future. He's part of the Rock Daydream Nation family. We're coming, it's our fifth year. Please tell us what you think of this album. Do you own it? What are your favorite songs? We love reading your comments. Please like and subscribe to Rock Daydream Nation. But one thing's for sure, you'll see me and Bicycle Legs talking in one shape or form about some rock very soon. Cheers. All the best. See you later. Bye.